Alright, just a quick video to talk about making fire when it's pissing down rain and everything's wet. Now, you see on the survival shows a lot of people have a hard time in Pacific Northwest, up in Canada, just because of the fact that we're in the rainforest. But there's a couple of places that you can find good materials, and I'm going to show you that right now. Everywhere around me is wet. I'm going to flip the camera around. You see the ground is completely soaked. But in this cluster of trees, even though there's a lot of wet materials right here, you come around this side, you can see there's quite a bit of cover here and not a lot of water coming down. So this is where we're going to gather our materials. Look at that ground. You can see it nice and dry. The materials there are dry. The bark on these trees on this side, pretty dry. So I'm going to gather some stuff up. I'm going to head back over to the fire pit, since I'm on my property and not really way out in the woods. This is not a survival situation, but we'll pretend like it is. Be right back. So this bark will make really good fire starting material. We're going to break it up and get a lot of surface area. And it is fairly dry. When I say dry, I'm talking about drier than the other stuff. There's definitely tons of moisture. Everything's moisture. Humidity's high. You can't see it on film, but it's really raining. But it is not impossible to use the materials around you to get a fire going. Okay, so here's some birch bark. But if you can tell, there is water running down this side of the tree. But over here, we're nice and dry. That stuff's like paper. This will be really good for fire starting. I know I've got a cigar too, which I won't be utilizing to help start the fire. Just wanted to point this out. And hey, why not have a cigar while you're having fun? So we're out here, back at the fire pit in camp. And hopefully you'll be able to see some of this. The fire pit is completely wet. It's out here in the elements. So we're going to try to make that surface a little bit more dry for our use, but it won't matter much once we get everything going. So let me show you some of the materials that we have to work with here. We've got all this birch bark, and I'm going to process that up and turn it into more fine paper with a whole lot of surface area to catch. Also got a whole lot of this bark here. Just came off of a cedar. And then all of our moist but drier than the other stuff type of twigs. The idea here is going to be able to get the bark started so that we can dry this stuff out a little bit better and hopefully get that to catch as well. Another asset that we have here is some pitch. I was able to take off of a tree. And it's pretty dry stuff, but still sticky. That will melt down, and that once that gets started, that'll give us a lot of burning time. And we probably won't use this whole asset. We'll save it for another rainy day. But pitch has been fairly plentiful in these woods, so no problem using that asset. I'll get some things set up and bring it right back. This is kind of how you break it up. In a circular motion. Collect all of the stuff that's dropping off of here. Turning it almost into, a lot of it into a fine powder. I'm doing it here under the shelters just so that it doesn't get all wet. We're going to make kind of a rat's nest out of this. Another asset that I always carry on me, a couple of things actually. This is my basic fire starting kit. And well, it's a piece of cheater material. I do keep it in there, but we're not going to use it today. In here I've got ferro rod. I've got a little bit of dry grass and char cloth. If you don't know how to make char cloth, learn. It's highly important. Alright, we'll keep processing this stuff down. Now, I may not have to use my grass if I can get this fine enough. I always keep the grass on me close to my person, keep it nice, warm, dry, so that if I ever need it, I have it there. And it definitely makes getting fire started a lot easier. I think we'll try it without the grass though, but we're definitely going to use char cloth. Alright, so I've got some more materials to process, and then I'll come back. Okay, got some materials processed. Got myself a small little nest here, and we're gonna get started. All right. So I seem to have misplaced my pitch. There it is. All right. So I'm gonna move the camera around real quick here. Hopefully it's not too shaky. Alright, so I put some sticks down. I can't say that they're dry, but they're definitely less wet than everything around. So we're going to get the fire started over here under the shelter and then transfer it over there. And over there is where the pitch is going to go as well. Break some of this off. Okay. Got a piece of char cloth here. Stick that down in the middle. Normally I use my knife with the ferro rod, but I've got a nice little blade here, so I'm going to just do it that way. And all we need to do here is just get a little spark going into, there we go. Alright, you see, it's just a little bit of a spark there. Blow till we get flame. Okay, we've got the flame. Put that over here. Turn the camera. And we have fire. Now we just have to keep that fire going. I'm going to spread some of this bark around here. Use some of these smaller branches. trick here is to be able to get this to dry out these little tiny branches. And that really is the hard part, because we don't want to put our flame out. And it's raining on this hard. All that smoke is because of the moisture in those little branches. Dealing with some wet stuff here. But we do still have a flame, and it is working. I'm just gonna put a little bit more pitch in here, kind of help this thing out. Make sure we get some flames that last. We do have fire. I just have to cultivate it into something usable. All right, well, I didn't gather a whole bunch of materials just because I'm not going to do anything with this fire but put it back out. But at this point, the branches have lit and we have fire, we have sustainability. It can be done in the rainforest. Hey, pretty. Hey, pretty. You're cute, aren't you? I see both of you. There's one, and there's the other. I can barely see her. She's right there. Boy, they blend in really well, don't they? Trust me, there's another one right there in the center of the screen. I can barely see her. Lift the camera up a little higher, maybe. Right where the tree is, and she just blends in perfectly. She's got a little bit of light behind her so we can see her better. Just friendly neighbors passing through. Hey there. You can just barely see her there.